Previously on the last Pokemon Crystal SuperMON run. Give me a sand, please. Thank you and goodbye. And coming up, he's a pest, he's a time waste. And I also think he smells. Welcome back to SuperMON. This is the series where we grab a Pokemon, we give it 4 moves and 1 chance, and we see just how far through Pokemon Crystal we can make it. Sometimes we get to the very end of the challenge and we can consider ourselves to have a SuperMON, and other times we don't make it very far at all. And today we're going to be running VICTREEBEL. VICTREEBEL is one of my all-time favourite grass Pokemon. I think it's an absolutely underrated gem, and I am very excited to see just how well we'll do in this challenge. Now, to get us started, we do need to take a look at our moves. And I've been thinking a fair amount about how to play VICTREEBEL. There are a few ways we could approach it, because we have access to both Growth and Swords Dance. Growth will only increase our special attack by 1 stage, whereas Swords Dance will increase our physical attack by 2 stages, so both would be a good idea. However, because we don't have access to any type of move barring Grass for our special, I think we're going to focus mostly on a physical attacking VICTREEBEL for this particular challenge. And with that in mind, I think the moves I'm going to choose are, first of all, we are going to go for Sludge Bomb. That's going to be our main attacking move. It's a very, very good stab move. Base 90 power with 10 PP, more than cromulent to see us through most of the challenge. We are going to go for Body Slam for a little bit of coverage. That will deal with a lot of the Pokemon that don't get hit by our Sludge Bomb. Then in slot number 3, we're going to go for Swords Dance. Swords Dance is all around a fantastic move to have. It will make this challenge a lot easier than it otherwise would have been. And then in slot number 4, we have Razor Leaf at the moment. If we were going on a time challenge, I would keep Razor Leaf. However, because we're not against the clock, I'm going to go for Giga Drain. Giga Drain might have a lower amount of PP, by quite a lot actually, it's only 5 PP, but it is slightly higher power and it's a drinking move. So that means we have the opportunity here to regain health if we should need it throughout the course of this challenge. So now that we've got our moves, we will take a look at our stats. We are level 5 with 24 HP, holding a berry with Sludge Bomb, Body Slam, Swords Dance and Giga Drain. 17 in attack, 13 in defense, 16 in special attack, 12 in special defense and 13 in speed. Those are the stats of our VICTREEBEL. We'll have to see how far we make it now. So as you can probably tell by how I'm sounding, I've been a little bit sick over the last week or so. Managed to catch one of those viruses going around. It turned into tonsillitis, which has now started to clear, but I don't quite sound at full fitness. I'm going to try my best to manage and pace myself throughout the course of this challenge. Should be a fairly smooth affair though with VICTREEBEL. We've seen before it's a very, very good Pokemon, especially for a grass type, so I don't think we're going to have too many troubles. Even having the type disadvantage to our first gym shouldn't bother us too much. Grass Poison is a very common typing in the first couple of generations, but it is a typing that has stood the test of time. We of course lose our poison weakness because we are part poison type. Plus, I believe we gain a couple of resistances as well, including to things like the fighting type. Now, the rival is going to have Cyndaquil throughout the course of this challenge. He does therefore have a super effective move against us, but we have Neutral Stab to hit him back with. And Sludge Bomb is a really, really good move. I think we've one-shot everything so far on the way up to Mr. Pokemon and back, so we are off to a very, very good start. And even though we've only got 65 in defense, I'm feeling fairly confident about our chances of getting through the first gym relatively unscathed. Now, if you are new to SuperMON, first of all, welcome along to the channel. I hope you're having a very good time, and if you are, please do click the subscribe button. But I will let you know about the rules of this challenge. We start off by picking a Pokemon. We picked VICTREEBEL in this instance, and then we get to pick 4 moves for our VICTREEBEL. Those 4 moves are what are going to be taking us through the entire challenge, and they are selected from the group of moves that you can see on the left hand side of the screen. We have our Level Up and TM Learn set from Generation 2, We have our egg moves from Generation 2, and then we also have any moves that VICTREEBEL could learn in Generation 1. That's how our learn set gets calculated. Ostensibly, if you could send it through the Pokétransporter on the 3DS, then it would be considered a valid learn set. Now, one of the most important things in SuperMON is earning points, so we're going to earn some right now against Falkner. He is our first gym leader. He is a flying type specialist, and he leads with Pidgey. We're going to set up just a single Swords Dance here, and then we'll get to sweeping, because I think one Swords Dance is all we need to guarantee the one-shot against the Pidgeotto. You can see we earned 3 more points there, taking us up to 5, and our level cap has moved up to level 16. So the more trainers we defeat, the more points we gain. There are a set list of trainers who will give you points throughout the course of this challenge. And if you defeat them, you gain points and you can progress further and further in the challenge. We have 100 points available throughout the course of this challenge, and on screen now are the trainers who will give us points. So we have 4 plotline trainers: the Kimono Girls, Slowpoke Rockets, Mahogany Rockets and Radio Town Rockets. They will all grant us 1 point each. Then we have the rival battles. They are 2 points each, and there are 5 rival battles in total throughout the course of this challenge. The Johto gym leaders, as well as most of the Kanto gym leaders, will earn us 3 points each. The Elite Four gives us 4 points each, Blue gives us 5, and Lance and Red both give us 10. That adds up to 100 points in total, and if we get 100 points we are classed as a SuperMON. Now, to make this challenge a little bit trickier, we play with a level cap. Now, that level cap is hard-coded into the game. It means that I physically cannot gain experience points on our VICTREEBEL once we've reached that level cap, and the level cap will alter depending on who we've battled. So we defeated Falkner at our level cap of 9, so our next level cap is Bugsy's level cap, which is 16. We defeat Bugsy and our level cap then moves up to Whitney's level cap. The level cap is determined by the highest leveled Pokemon of the next key trainer, so Whitney's highest level Pokemon is 20, so we will have a level cap of 20. There is a little loophole in the level cap system though. If we defeat a gym leader out of order, for instance, if we defeat Jasmine before we defeat Chuck, our level cap will then increase to Claire's level cap because Jasmine is the 7th gym leader in Johto. So we can then face Chuck at up to level 40, which is Claire's highest leveled Pokemon. That's well within the rules of the challenge, it's well within the spirit of the challenge, and it adds a little bit more strategy to what we can do to try and earn ourselves a victory. Now, you may have noticed there we picked up the Periscure Berry. We are only allowed 1 day's worth of berries. We cannot adjust the clock, we cannot adjust anything like that to earn ourselves any more berries. We get 1 from each tree, and that is it. So there's no funny business, no shenanigans, cheating the game to get extra berries to make the challenge easier. It's something we hold true in all of our challenge runs. We don't regen berries on the trees because that would not be within the spirit of the rules. And the last thing to know about SuperMON is we get 1 life and 1 chance. If we faint, it's game over. We'll go to the leaderboard and we'll see exactly where we finished on the leaderboard. Hopefully we'll get to the end, but it is never a guarantee. We've gone down in all kinds of places here in the SuperMON Challenge. On our first couple of streams, we went down at Whitney a couple of times, we've made it to Red, and we've been down at all places in between as well. I have a lot of fun doing these challenges. They tickle a different part of my brain to the time challenges. There's a lot more strategy, there's a lot more thinking involved. And one other thing about the level cap, by the way, that I forgot to mention, is even though we cannot gain experience points, we still gain the stat experience from these battles, and that will be calculated on our next level up. So when we defeat Bugsy now, we are going to get the stat experience for these coughing, for instance, and everything else we have battled en route to Bugsy. But now we are outside the other end of the cave. We've picked up a pointless PlayStation Berry. We don't need that in this particular challenge because we are never going to be poisoned. And now that we are in Azalea, we have to go into the Slowpoke well to deal with the rockets. The rockets are one of our 4 sets of points for mandatory storyline trainers, and the reason I picked these along with the other ones is because you have to do them to get through the end of the challenge. Something like Sprout Tower is technically optional, so it doesn't really make sense to count those towards any kind of points, because then we could end up with a SuperMON with just 99 points, for instance. And one more thing to note about the SuperMON challenge is catching all Pokemon has been disabled. The only Pokemon you'll be able to have is the one you get from Professor Elm. Everything else is disabled. You cannot catch any Pokemon, you cannot get any eggs. All gift Pokemon have been removed, and as such, the HMs have been replaced with HM items. You also cannot teach any TMs or HMs to your Pokemon. The only moves you get are the 4 moves you pick at the start of the challenge. And if you do want to play this challenge yourself, the patch is available on the website trainersquidgy.com. That's where you can get all the patches for all the different runs we play here on the channel. Not only the back balls, but the 4 moves patch, the Nuzlocke patch, and the SuperMON patch as well. And now, we're in our second gym. We're going to have a very easy time with this gym, I reckon. We're going to do full trainers. There's absolutely no sense in not getting all this stat experience and the money as well, considering we're able to 1 or 2 shot most things. We're even able to 1-shot that B-drill there. That fills me with a lot of confidence. I generally hold off on Bugcatcher Josh if we can't 1-shot him, but we'll just have to 1-shot him then, I suppose. And now we will take on Bugsy. Bugsy is our second gym leader together today, a bug-type specialist who leads with Metapod. We're going to take advantage of Metapod's hardening by doing a double sword stance, and then we will Sludge Bomb. We get rid of the Metapod, we get rid of the Kakuna. 1 Fury Cutter hits, and that's all that Fury Cutter's got for us today, because we defeat Bugsy and obtain our next set of points. Up to 9 points on the board, and we have a fresh level cap of 20. Now, after Bugsy comes the second rival battle, and there is a chance for us to go down here. Not a huge chance, but there is that chance. He leads with Ghastly. We're going to 2 or 3 shot this thing. We haven't been paralysed. I'm not worried about paralysis, I'm more worried about a burn in this one. Ember hasn't burnt, so now we are practically guaranteed to get through the rest of this battle. We've body slammed and paralysed the Zubat. We can then finish it off with another body slam, and we get our next 2 points courtesy of the rival, getting up to 11 points, and our level cap stays the same because we haven't beaten another gym leader yet. And to defeat the next gym leader, we do need to make our way through the Ilex Forest. Here's where we're going to be getting one of our HM items. We reunite the bird with the bird keeper, and he will give us the scythe. The scythe will let us chop down any pesky trees that get in our way. They're few and far between, but they are very annoying when they do show up. And we will have a little hello to the green-haired man staring at the tree, separated by a ledge today. And we don't need a headbutt nor the tree shaker, so we're just going to say a very quick hi and bye to him. Oh, we got the encounter on the other side of the forest to Paris. I'd have been very happy with that in the old-time challenges. Of course, we did need to catch both Paris and Psyduck, and now that we are out to the other end of the forest, we can start doing a little bit of levelling. We're going to need to reach level 20 to take on Whitney, and again, she could be a fairly dangerous gym leader. I don't think we have to worry about the cow, but I think the Clefairy has the potential to ruin our run. If it rolls something like Sacred Fire, it's probably going to be all over, so we have to be very careful about how we play Whitney. Try and play smart to reduce the chances of Metronome being something totally devastating. Now, we've just been to the Goldenrod Underground to pick up the coin case. We did the mandatory battles down there as well, and we'll get ourselves the rental Abra. That functions just like you would expect a regular Abra to function, i.e. it teleports us back to the nearest Pokemon Center, and that means we can start on our first trip up north here in Goldenrod. We have to go north in order to go back south, to go back north again. Such is the progression here in Generation 2, but we'll make the most of it. We can get some lovely stat experience for the next time we are able to level up, and I do want to take on, thinking of stat experience, I want to take on the Bumhead Fireduck guy here. We should be able to one-shot both of his Bumhead Fireducks with Sludge Bomb, so we'll have no issues. Now, I am going to pick up the Quick Claw here. We have 70 in speed, and 70's kind of a weird number speed-wise. It's that middle of the road where a lot of the time we'll naturally outspeed the opponents, but there are certain trainers where 70 just won't be enough by a really, really small margin. So by getting ourselves the Quick Claw and equipping it, we're going to guarantee at least a chance of outspeeding some of the faster opponents. For instance, I'm not sure we're going to outspeed Whitney's Miltank, so we'll hold on to it for that battle. The plan for Whitney, by the way, is to set up and then try and one-shot, and in fact, that's where we're heading now. We'll get the Rentalabra into a sensible position in the bag, we'll use it, we'll do a little heal, and we'll make our way in to gym number 3. Now, we've only got one mandatory trainer here in this gym. Whitney's being a little bit kind to us by having all of these trainers, but it's just Carrie who will see you from afar, and her Snubble's a little bit useless, isn't it? So we can take her on now. This is Whitney. She is our 3rd gym leader together today, a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. We're going to set up one Swords Dance. Rage is fine. Mimic even better. We should be okay now. Clefairy goes down. Miltank starts to roll. Miltank goes down. Easy, 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 Whitney. We get another 3 points, taking us up to level 14, and our level cap is now at 25. So that means we have another 5 levels to play with for the Morty battle. Now, Morty's going to be a fairly annoying gym leader to face. We don't have anything great for the Ghost Poison types, so we're going to have to try and play it a little bit smart and a little bit clever. We've still got a little ways to go until we face Morty, though. We've got to get there first and foremost, which can be a little bit of a trek in and of itself. We have to get through this annoying tree, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to see how good Giga Drain's doing. It one-shot, so it's doing fairly good. We'll get ourselves TM08 and the Big Hammer. That is our way of smashing rocks. We do smash a couple of rocks in the course of this challenge. Not too many, but enough for me to pick up the hammer every single time. And because we're doing SuperMON, we don't care about wasting time for Bill's cutscene. We are not against the clock. We are never ever going to track our times in SuperMON, because otherwise I will play as if I'm against the clock and I'll make silly, silly decisions. And we can now start picking off the Kimono Girls. We're very lucky that the 2 Kimono Girls who have the type advantage to us also have relatively weak physical defences, so both of those go down in 1 hit apiece, and the rest should be fairly simple. How much does Sludge Bomb do against the Umbreon? Quite a bit. We'll finish it off with a Body Slam. We'll grow up to 22. And we've only got Voltion and Vaporeon. No, Vaporeon and Jolteon left to go. How much do we do against the Vaporeon? Oh, not that much. You can tell that Vaporeon is a fairly bulky Pokemon. And let us now hopefully one-shot this Jolteon to finish off the Kimono Girls. You can see there, Jolteon's one of the Pokemon that does outspeed us. We get ourselves the Raft, but we cannot use it until after we have defeated Morty. But we still have the rival battle to go before we take on Morty. I am thinking, you know, we're going to take a very quick trip west. We're not going to go all the way to the lighthouse in this particular occasion, but I want to pick up the Mince Berry. I think the Mince Berry is going to be a very useful item to have for the Morty battle. So I want to pick it up now and take advantage of doing a couple of extra trainers while we are here. So we're going to be able to boost our stats both for the rival and for Morty. Mr. Mime would be a terrifying Pokemon if it didn't get one shot. And then we've got a couple of easy trainers as well before the Mint Berry. Corsola here, poor Corsola, 4 times weak to Grass. Stood no chance, and then we're going to use our Grass-type moves against the pair of Slowpoke that Norman has as well. And with that, we will be able to be ready for our next set of battles. So we'll grab the Minceberry from the tree. We will also grab the nugget from beneath the cows, and we will teleport all the way back to the Pokémon Center. Our PP is looking a little bit hammered, so we will go for a very quick heal here. And it's in to the Burnt Tower we go. This is the first and last time Useem will ever get any conversation out of us whatsoever, because we don't particularly like him. He's a pest, he's a time waste, and I also think he smells. Right, let's take on the rival. Talking of someone who smells, he leads with Haunter. We got an out for the Haunter, I'm going to be honest, so we're going to Swords Dance. He'll swear at us. That should then mean misclick there. Still got the dodgy D-pad. Should then one-shot with a Sludge Bomb. Same with the Quilava. Magnemite Body Slam will hopefully one-shot just like that. And we will Body Slam the Zubat as well. Nice and simple. Damageless Rival 3 there. We will now fall through the floor. We'll release the beasts. We'll stare Useem in the eye as we ignore him. And we'll get out of here. Up next is going to be Morty. And so now, after slogging our way through all of Morty's gym trainers, we are ready for Morty himself. He is our 4th gym leader together today, a dual ghost and poison type spectacular leader who leads with Ghastly. Ghastly's going to swear at us, and it will of course mean our HP is going to start depleting every turn we don't knock out an opponent, so we'll just have to knock out an opponent on pretty much every turn. Now if Hypnosis misses just like that, we have the win. And we can now rest easy, thank goodness for that. Fog badge acquired, 20 points on the board, and level 30 for the level cap. That was the only gym battle where I was a little bit worried about going down, mostly because we have nothing really for the Ghost and Poison type Pokemon, and I knew we weren't going to outspeed that Gengar there. Very glad that the Mince Berry kicked in and did its job though, and even more glad that Morty then got very unlucky on turn 2 with his RNG. We could have lost the run there, but we didn't. And now we are in Olivine City, where the first thing we'll do is grab the Strength HM. That will also give us the Burly Man's phone number, so that we can call on him when we need some boulders moved. We'll do a quick little heal here in the Pokemon Center, and we will start ascending the Lighthouse. Now, at the top of the Lighthouse, we are going to chat with Jasmine, and we are going to put her battle off right until the last moment in this particular challenge, because, of course, we're going to have nothing for her Magnemite. I'm not so worried about the Steelix. I think we'll be absolutely fine against that, because Giga Drain at worst will run neutral, but we could get really, really messed up by her Thunder Waving Magnemite. So we've got to play it a little bit safe, a little bit careful. We get access to 2 Paralyzed Cure Berries in Johto. We've got one that we picked up just after Violet City, and then we've got a second one available just south of Blackthorn. So we can, in theory, use both of those berries, one for Jasmine and one for Claire, but that will then leave us no Paralyzed Cure Berries for the League, and sometimes I like having one for Lance or Karen. So depending on how the RNG goes in those 2 gym battles will determine how we have to play the Pokémon League. But now we've spoken with Jasmine, we'll get the rare candy, and you know what? We will take on the Bird Keeper, we'll get the extra items here that we can sell for vitamins as well. I think we need to maybe put a couple of vitamins in our speed stat to try and at least have a chance of outspeeding some of the faster Pokemon. We're not against the clock, so we can take the time to do this kind of thing. We'll get up to get TM34 there, and we'll get the Hyper Potion. Probably going to sell both of those. I generally only run Super Potions in our solo challenges, because most of the time we're not even close to low HP, and I'll just stick in a Super Potion when I menu as a little bit of insurance. And now, after crossing the sea, we have ended in Cianwood City. We'll do a quick PP heal here, and we will go and chat with the man in the dodgy shop so that we can obtain the secret potion for Jasmine a little bit later on. And there's only one more thing to do here in Cianwood, and that is take on the gym leader. We've got to get through all of his gym trainers here. Unlike some other nicer gym leaders, thinking of Whitney there, and Whitney and Nice very rarely go together in a sentence, this gym is full of mandatories. We've got to take on each and every one of them, unfortunately, but we do resist the fighting type, so it's not all bad news. Nice crit there on the Machoke as well. Good news is a lot of these gym trainers are very, very weak. There's not too much to them, either upstairs or in their moves, so we'll be able to get through fairly quickly. And we've got 3 sludge bombs and some body slams remaining for the Chuck battle itself. We are going to hold on to a bitterberry here, if I can find it in the bag, just in case things go wrong. I don't think they will, and we will now take him on. This is Chuck. He is our 5th gym leader together today, a fighting type specialist who leads with Primate. Well, I see this Primate as free setup. Leah has failed, Karate Chop crits and does nothing at all really, so we'll set up the triple, we might as well. Fury Swipes there doing more than a crit Karate Chop, goodness me. And we outspeed the Poliwrath, we get rid of it straight away. Wouldn't have expected anything less after a triple Swords Dance. And look at that, we've got a whole extra level to play with on the level cap. Isn't that so generous of the Johto level curve? Right, we've got the air balloon now as well. That means I've got a little bit of housekeeping to get up with. So I'll tell you what, why don't we meet back up at the lake? So we have made it to Route 43. The first thing we're going to do here is pick up the Bitterberry. That's our 2nd Bitterberry. We also have one still equipped on our Victreebel, so that means that we have 2 trainers now who can confuse us where we can set up beforehand. Always useful to have Bitterberries. They're one of the best berries in this entire challenge. We're going to pick up this rare candy from the Lake of Rage, and because we're not against the clock, I'm going to do full items. That means we are going to grab this elixir, which we never ever grab in our time challenges because it is bait and there's a better elixir if you're against the clock. But in this particular challenge, we don't need to worry about time, so we might as well pick it up. We'll get Detect and we'll also get Hidden Power so that we can sell those for a little bit of money as well. By the way, if you are wondering what our DVs are in a SuperMON, unless I say otherwise, you can always assume that we are running perfect DVs on our Pokemon, and that is definitely the case for our Victreebel. We're going to use Sludge Bomb here against the Gyarados as he goes for Thrash, but just a couple of shots knocks it out, so we obtain the red scale. We'll have a little chat with Lance the Liar here, and unfortunately we have to say yes to him to progress through the challenge, but we're going to hold off a little bit because I want to take on a couple more trainers for their delicious stat experience, because we can one-shot this Slowbro here, and then we can also probably one-shot this Nidoking with a Body Slam. Just like that, and because we're taking the long scenic route down, we'll also pick up a Max Ether here. Very useful to have. With that, we've got no more delaying. Got to get ourselves into the Mahogany Underground here. Really wish we didn't have to, but that is what we've got to do. But I'm not going to make you sit through it, so let's skip to the end. Well, that was, as always, a big waste of everybody's time, but we are now through the hideout. We get an extra point for our troubles. Lance gives us the bath plug as well, so that we can get through any whirlpools. So we'll get out of here. We'll do a very quick pit stop here in the Mahogany Pokemon Center, and we'll go into our next gym. This is Price's Ice-type gym, so you'd think we'd be in a little bit of danger running the Grass-type here, but it just so happens that literally every single Pokemon we are going to face in Price's Ice-type gym is going to be weak to the Grass-type. So hopefully that will cause us to have a very good time of it. Price is our 6th gym leader. He leads with Seal. We'll one-shot that with a Sludge Bomb. And then I reckon a Sludge Bomb to get us started on the Dugong. We've poisoned it. Aurora Beam does a little bit, but we're absolutely fine. And we get rid of it with another Sludge Bomb. We'll Giga Drain the Piloswine with critical hits. We get up to full health. And we absolutely destroy Price. There we go. We've now got 27 points on the board and a fresh level cap of 35 to play with. That level cap of 35 is for Jasmine. However, we've not got too many places to gain experience before we take her on, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time here in the sea and we'll get up to 35. It was a bit of a slog, but we have now made it up to 35. Ended up having to take on the Soft Sand Girls alongside pretty much all of the trainers there in the sea between Olivine and Cianwood. But we can now return the medication to Jasmine. we will get ourselves out of here via the escape rope, and we will make our way in to the next gym together. Right, we have to hope for the best now. This is Jasmine. She's a still type specialist, leads with Magnemite. I reckon we go for a sword stance here. Thunderwave has had a Gen 2 miss. That is brilliant. Let's try and get rid of this Magnemite. Double Gen 2 miss, even better. Up next is Steelix. I reckon we'll do about half with a Giga Drain. Iron Tail gets the defense drop, but we shouldn't be taking any more physical hits. And now we've just got one Magnemite left to go. We crit, didn't matter either way, it was probably a range. But we are through another one of those tricky gym leaders. Jasmine was definitely a place where we could have gone down. We have a bit of an Achilles heel when it comes to the still type. I'm just very, very glad that Jasmine's ace is A, part ground type, so it's going to be running neutral to the grass type, and B, has virtually no special defense whatsoever, so we were able to two-shot. That could have gone an awful lot worse. We got the luck that we needed to with the Magnemite, and the rest all slotted into place, and that is why we are now in the ice path, travelling on towards Blackthorn City. We do have to do the radio tower, of course, before we do anything in Blackthorn, but if we go through here now, we're going to get access to a couple of PP ups and a couple more useful items as well, which will help us in our endeavours to clear the radio tower in as quick a time as possible, because it's not going to be a challenge, so we might as well focus on getting through without having to heal as much, without having to leave and re-enter, and without having to worry about anything at all really apart from the fourth rival battle. And even the fourth rival battle should be fairly simple, although he does lead with Golbat, which could throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. Picked up the wrong berry from the tree there, meant to get the second Purus-Cure berry. And with that, we do have to make our way back to Goldenrod, where we are going to take on the fourth rival battle next. And so after completing about a third of the radio tower, we can now make our way into the underground to take on the fourth and hopefully penultimate rival battle. Like I mentioned, he is going to lead with Golbat. Golbat will hopefully go for Wing Attack because it will see the type matchup, or we could just critical hit it. That works for me as well. Don't really mind how we get rid of it as long as we get rid of it. Quilava can go away. And up next is Magnemite. Probably going to get paralysed here. We are holding on to the Purus-Cure berry. That's absolutely fine. That's why I kept hold of it a little longer than I normally would. Let us probably Giga Drain this Haunter. It swears at us, so it gets rid of itself fairly easily at the end, and we'll Sludge Bomb the Sneasel to have a nice and simple finish to the battle there. That was another point on the board, getting us up to 32 points now, and we've got even more rockets to get on with. I'm not going to make you sit through these ones either, so we'll get to the very end. So we have made it to the final rocket of this challenge. Let us now engage him in battle and hopefully have an easy time of it as well. The worst he could do here is lower our accuracy with Smokescreen, but that didn't happen, so that means we are open for the one-shot on the Houndoom, and we have cleared out the radio tower. We will gain an extra point for the hassle of clearing out the radio tower there, and we can now also get our rewards from Marie, which is in the form of the pink bow, and we'll go down onto the bottom floor and pick up the radio card while we are here. The answer to this is, as always, 121212. That will let us get past the Snorlax if we end up in the Kanto section. And I really am hoping that we do end up in the Kanto section in this one. I think that VICTREEBEL deserves to make its way through the Pokémon League. We've had a very, very smooth challenge up until this point, especially considering with the grass type. So I think it would only be fitting to get at least through to past Lance. So now, after clearing out all of Claire's gym trainers, we can take on Claire. We're going to hold on to the second Purus-Cure berry here as we engage her in battle. This is Claire, the Dragon-type specialist, our final Johtonian leader, and she leads with Dragonair. We are going to use one Swords Dance, then get rid of the Dragonair, and up next is another Dragonair. We know we can one-shot this as well, so she sends out her third. Same situation for all of them, and what about the Kingdra? It's a one-shot. Nice, 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 although we don't have Claire's badge yet. We do have to rush into the Dragon's Den for that, and in the Dragon's Den, of course, is going to be the ambush from this here trainer. our absolute arch nemesis of these challenges with his own Dragonair that's wrapping us this time. But that's fine, we have defeated Darren, and that means we can get into the Dragon's Den, where we will use the exact same template for our answers that we did for the radio card just a moment ago. That will cause Claire to come in to the Dragon Shrine, where she will give us our next badge. Rising badge acquired, level cap of 42, up to 36 points on the board as well. Not bad going for our Victory Bell. Let us now start making our way towards the Victory Road. On the way up to Victory Road, we're going to do a few trainers en route, just to make sure that we've got enough stat experience and enough money for the full restores actually. That's something else we have to focus on in these challenges. We spend a lot of money on the vitamins in SuperMON, so quite often we end up in a situation where we don't quite have that much money left over by the time we get to the Pokémon League. Very annoying that we got paralysed there by the Nidoqueen. That was a very low chance of that happening, but we do have a free heal house, and I am going to take on this Espeon trader. I like taking him on for a multitude of reasons. One, he's a lot of experience. Two, he's a very easy battle, and three, he gives fairly good money. So with him taken care of, we can now start heading up towards Victory Road proper. I think we're only going to take on Beth out of this lot up here. I don't think any of the rest is going to be any real use to us. So we'll Sludge Bomb her Rapidash, we crit, we grow to 42, and we defeat her. We will pick up the Max Elixir while we are here, and now we can get through the loop once more into Victory Road. Here in Victory Road, we're going to stick on a Super Repel, actually, not a Max Repel. That just means that the steps line up for the start of the Kanto section that I do off camera. We can then go and grab the HP up from here. And with that, we're all ready for rival number 5. This is, no matter what, the last rival battle of the challenge, and he leads with Sneasel. We're going to take advantage of him leading with Sneasel to set up all of our sword stances. Even a critical hit from Fury Cutter does next to nothing at all there. We can get rid of the Sneasel. Up next is Golbat. We'll Sludge Bomb again, we might as well. And we've got Kadabra. Kadabra can do nothing, so it goes away. Typhlosion will also get one shot with Sludge Bomb, so he sends out his Magneton. We'll use a Body Slam on the Magneton, and because we're at such high attack, it will go down, and we can one-shot the Haunter. Nice stuff there from our Victory Bell, getting through the last rival battle, getting us up to 38 points as well. With that, we're at the Pokémon League, so we'll do a quick heal whether we need to or not. We can buy a total of 6 full restores. We are loaded. And we'll now take a look at our stats and make some predictions before going into the league. We are level 42 with 144 HP. Holding nothing at the moment, but that will be probably a Bitterberry. With Sludge Bomb, Body Slam, Sword Stance, and Giga Drain. 123 in attack, 89 in defense, 120 in special attack, 87 in special defense, and 94 in speed. Now, I think the league's going to be a bit of a mixed bag on this occasion. I think that Will could make us go down if we get some really pants luck. I think as well Karen could make us go down. I think if we get through Karen, we will get through Lance because we can brute force it with Swords Dance. And the other two in the middle shouldn't be too much of a problem either. Maybe the Fortress could turn into a bomb and critical hit us, but that really is one of the very few lose conditions of this challenge. So without any further ado, let's get on with it. This is our first league member. This is Will, a Psychic type specialist who leads with a Xatu. We're going to Sword Stance against the Xatu. Confuse Ray has hit like we expected it to, but we can Sludge Bomb it away. Up next is going to be Jinx. We know Jinx has paper thin defenses, so we can use another Sludge Bomb. Here comes Xatu number 2. That will go down in one. We've got Executor 4th, and finally Slowbro, and hopefully this will one-shot. It does not, but we can finish it off with a Giga Drain. There we go, Will is done. First of 4 league members out of the way. And up next is Koga. Koga is a Poison-type specialist who's going to lead with Ariados. We'll take full advantage of him leading with Ariados by setting up a couple of Sword Stances. He's baton passed into his Venomoth, but we hit through the double team regardless, so that was a bit pointless for him. We also hit through the Crobat's double team, so he's going to send out Ariados again. Once again, we knock it out in one, and we can move on to the Fortress. Probably don't have anything great for the fortress, so we're going to start off with a swords dance, and then we'll try and do a double or triple body slam. That way we avoid it going kaboom as we grow up to 43. Here comes Muck, we can probably body slam it away, and we defeat Koga in a very easy battle. 46 points on the board. Up next is Bruno. Bruno, of course, is the fighting type specialist of the Pokémon League, and he's going to lead with Hitmontop. And I see this Hitmontop as free setup. He's going to go underground, so we're going to do a couple of turns of Swords Dance, and then we'll get rid of it with a Sludge Bomb. Up second is Hitmonchan. We can use another Sludge Bomb, and it will just go down very easily. Same thing will happen with the Hitmonlee. And up next is Machamp. We take it out in one big shot. We've just got Onix left to go. Onix is quarter weak to the grass type, so we get to heal up as well. Very nice. Easy, easy Bruno there. Now time for somebody who's not going to be easy. This is Karen. I'm going to do my prep work for Karen off camera because it's going to include rare candying, but then we will rejoin the battle. And so we have done everything we can for the Karen battle. We've candied up to 47. We've used our Bitterberry, and we have used the HP up as well. So now we can try and take her on. We got a double Swords Dance out of this Umbreon. I'm not going to gamble anymore. I'm going to get rid of it. Houndoom is next. We know we can one-shot this thing with Sludge Bomb. And here comes Vileplume. Sludge Bomb is a one-shot against that as well. The fourth Pokemon is Gengar. Now we should be able to two-shot the Gengar with Sludge Bomb. And we've got Murkrow next. Very, very simple Karen battle in the end there. And we didn't take a single hit of damage. However, we did get spited, which is very annoying for PP purposes. Now, I don't think we're going to need to candy for Lance here. We're going to go straight into the battle. This should be a very simple affair as well, because we don't really have to worry about anything hitting us too hard. So we're going to start Swords Dancing against the Gyarados. He's got a recharge, and then we should hopefully be able to sweep. We say goodbye to the Gyarados. Up next is the first Dragonite. It goes down in one, so he sends out his Aerodactyl next. Wing Attack does hit us. I thought we'd outspeed that Aerodactyl, but we don't. But that should be the last time we get hit in this battle, because we can one-shot the Charizard, and we can also one-shot the level 50 Dragonite. Oh, there's another Dragonite. Forgot that he didn't send his second 47. Didn't make any difference either way. We are through Lance. So that could have gone a little bit worse. A crit would have knocked us out, but we did make it all the way through the Pokémon League. So at this point in the challenge, we can say that VICTREEBEL is half a SuperMON. We have made it into the Hall of Fame. How many of you thought we would be getting through the league with VICTREEBEL when you clicked on to this video? Let me know if you did think you would. But remember, this is only half of the story. There is still up to another 8 gym badges, plus hopefully a red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where the first thing we do in Kanto is pick up another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. And with that safely tucked away in our bag, we are going to start our Kanto routing for SuperMON. Do remember that because this is SuperMON, we start off with a storyline and then we'll take on the gym leaders in an order that will make most sense for the Pokemon's survivability. We're not necessarily going for the fastest possible time. We are going to pick up an extra Cure Berry. That's going to come in handy for the Surge battle when we get around to it. And our first trip is going to be through the Rock Tunnel. We've just got Hiker Jimothy to get through before we get into the Rock Tunnel. And the reason we're going through Rock Tunnel is so that we can do the Power Plant storyline. For that, we are going to need to use the lantern so that we can see where we're going. I don't have to do Rock Tunnel in the dark in SuperMON, which is a very, very big, glorious bonus. Compared to the time challenges, it means I can race all the way through as well. And now that we're on the other side, we can go down to the power plants. I really, really, really do not like Route 9, even in Johto, where it is much more curtailed compared to the Generation 1 and Generation 3 version of Route 9, so going through Rock Tunnel backwards with its very small size in comparison is a lot more tolerable than taking on Route 9 and all of the annoyances that go along with Route 9. But that also means we're going to be having a very early Nugget Bridge in this particular challenge, because I think we're going to take on Misty first. So let us now begin. And in this Nugget Bridge, I want to talk about the bloody virus I picked up. It has been so annoying. I was getting a really good momentum with recording videos, really feeling it, really starting to think I was playing well, I was talking well, I was having fun doing it. And I woke up on a Monday morning and I felt like absolute dross. It is now Friday afternoon for context at the time of this video's recording. Yeah, I felt absolutely horrific. And I slept most of Monday, then couldn't sleep Tuesday into Wednesday because I slept so much. I then just kept feeling worse and worse and worse as the days were going on. Lost my voice entirely midweek. Tonsils became a little bit inflamed, but I'm hoping I'm through the worst of it now. Feeling good enough to at least get a recording done today, because I have been bored out of my bloomin' brain without being able to record anything when that's what my brain is wanting to focus on the most. I get so restless. I've not even got my taxes to do because I did those in the middle of the last video that I recorded, which was the Sharpedo challenge. So yeah, I've been very, very bored, and I'm hoping that I can get back into recording a lot more fun challenges. I know a lot of you were expecting Nidoqueen, by the way, today, but I had a look at the learn set and I thought it would just end up being Nidoking, but not quite as good. So I'm giving that one a little bit more time to cook, try and come up with an idea that makes Nidoqueen stand out a little bit. But now let's take on Misty. She's going to be our first Kantonian gym leader. She is a water-type specialist who leads with Golduck. We went for a Body Slam on the Golduck. I'm not quite sure why I went for a Body Slam on the Golduck. I meant to go for a Giga Drain on the Golduck. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. We can Giga Drain the Quagsire. We're back up to full health, so it made zero difference. We'll Giga Drain the Lapras and hope we don't get frozen. She's gone for Rain Dance. We have this in the bag now, because we can Giga Drain the Starmie, and that means we can obtain our first Kantonian points. We are now up to 67 points on the board. We'll get the machine part as well, and that means we can take a trip back to the power plant to return this machine part to its rightful but very, very incompetent owner. I really don't understand why the owner of the power plant is allowed in charge of this place if he cannot look after his equipment, but I don't make the rules, and it seems like the rules here in Kanto especially are particularly optional. At least Johto seems to have a little bit more of a hold on Team Rocket versus the Kantonian folk here. The only time Team Rocket deals with Johto is once they've spilt over from Kanto. I blame building the Magnet Train myself. In the 3 years between the Generation 1 games and the Magnet Train being built, trouble definitely did brew as a result. So I think the lesson there is don't build a Magnet Train between an absolute dump that is Kanto and a very nice place that's Johto. Right, we are through the other side of the rock tunnel now. We will have a little trip into our next gym. This is going to be Brock's gym next. I think we'll have an easy time of it once more. We are, however, going to need to use one of our ethers on our Giga Drain. We've got one left because all of Brock's Pokemon are going to be 4 times weak to the grass type. So this will be one of the easiest battles our Victreebel will ever see. We just hold down the A button and we win. It's the same in all of the first 4 generations for Brock. Every single one of his Pokemon has a quad weakness to the grass type. So if you are running, say, a grass type in Fire Red, Leaf Green, you're going to have a very easy start. If you're running a grass type in SuperMON, you know that if you get through Kanto, you are at least going to be able to get Brock's points, and maybe Misty's as well, because Misty isn't that great of a gym leader either. So now we are making our way further and further south, and we are able to grab another rare candy here on Cinnabar Island. That means we have 6 rare candies in the bag because we picked up the extra ones from Johto. And I might be sick, but I can still do even basic mental maths in my head. 6 rare candies means that we can now get up to the Kantonian level cap. So we'll do that before taking on Blaine. So that's all 6 rare candies in, let's now take him on. This is Blaine, he is a fire type specialist, leads with Magcargo. We don't have anything great for the Magcargo, so we're going to Sludge Bomb on turn 1, and then I reckon a Giga Drain will finish it off on turn number 2. Sludge Bomb should one-shot the Bumhead Fire Duck, and then it should also one-shot the Rapidash. Easy Blaine battle, we might have had the type disadvantage, but it's Blaine, so it doesn't ever really matter that much. And with that we can keep on traversing the open seas into Fuchsia City, where we're going to take on Janine next. Janine should be a fairly easy gym leader to take on. She does have a type advantage over us in some ways, but I think her worst Pokemon is going to be the Golbat, which we knock out in 1. We can one-shot the Venomoth, it's interesting she's sending that out second. Now I don't think we're going to one-shot these Weezing, but there's not too much they can do to hurt us back. It's kind of one of those situations where we're not very good against them, but they're also not very good against us. And then we should be able to finish off this Ariados as well. So that gives us a Soul Badge, up to 76 points now on the board for our Victreebel. Well, we can leave here and figure out who is going to be our next target for the gym leaders. I reckon next it's probably going to be a good idea to go back to Vermilion City. We resist the electric type, and I reckon at this point we'll be able to set up at least against one of Lieutenant Surge's Pokemon to try and make the battle a little bit easier. I'm worried about not one-shotting all of Sabrina's Pokemon, so I'm going to save onto her for as long as we can, and just for a little bit of insurance, we will hold on to the Peruscure Berry here. So this is Surge, he is our next gym leader, an electric type specialist led with Raichu that went down. Electabuzz is next. Right, I think I'm going to risk a Swords Dance against the Electabuzz. Maybe a double. We didn't get paralysed by the Thunder. That means we can then get rid of Electabuzz. Electrode comes out. We'll use our last Swords Dance against this. We'll Body Slam it away, and we have a Magneton to deal with. We can Body Slam the Magneton, and that means we've got through this battle. And more importantly, it means we've saved on to our Peruscure Berry. That means we can potentially use that for the red fight instead. Up to 79 points now on the board. So I believe that leaves just 3 gym leaders left to go. We've got Sabrina, we've got Erica, and we have Blue. And the next one we'll take on is Erica. We'll have the type advantage over some of her Pokemon, and she won't be able to hit us very hard with the rest of them. Now, annoyingly, Janine does have a bunch of mandatory trainers to get through, so we are going to have to chip away at them, but most of them do have a weakness to the poison type. There aren't that many grass poisons on the build-up to the Erica fight, and now we can take her on. This is Erica, the grass type specialist of Celadon City, leads with Tangela. It's a one-shot on Tangela with Sludge Bomb. She sends out her own Victreebel, but ours is infinitely better. Blossom is weak to poison, so it goes down in 1, as is the Jumpluff. So we have a very nice and easy Erica battle there, getting ourselves up to 82 points. That means we can now leave here and go back to Paddington. Before we go back there though, we are going to pick up the leftovers from the cafe, and we're also going to grab the PP up from the bush, and we'll stick that into our Giga Drain. That will give us maximum PP for our Giga Drain, and you never know, it could come in useful in a pinch a little bit later on. Now, I was in Fire Red mode then for a second. I was trying to get into Silphco. We don't need to get into Silphco, we just need to get into our next gym, where we're going to face Sabrina next. Sabrina is a Psychic type specialist, so she does have the type advantage, and she leads with Peskeon. Peskeon goes down in 1. Mr. Mime follows in the same way, and if we get rid of those, we're going to get rid of the Alakazam. And that means we have our 7th out of 8 potential Kantonian gym badges. Very, very good stuff. 85 points with our level cap remaining at 58. If we get through the next battle though, our level cap will increase, but that is not a guarantee. Let us get ourselves into Viridian Gym, where Blue is waiting patiently for us. We will stick on the leftovers for this battle, and we'll see how it goes. This is Blue. He is our final gym leader of the challenge, and he leads with Pidgeot. We are going to risk a Swords Dance against this Pidgeot, and we're going to get rid of it straight away using a Sludge Bomb. We're not risking a Swords Dance Wing Attack on us. That would be devastating. That's kind of bad though. Spadef Drop from Psychic from the Alakazam, that hit very hard as well. We're going to have to hope that all of the rest of these Pokemon go down in one shot, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen, because we can swap to Giga Drain for the Rhydon, drink all of its health, and look at that. It's like we were never hit in the first place. Blue being very, very easy there, adding a little bit of drama, but still sticking to the script of letting us get to at least see Red. He does give us a candy jar as well, which means I can level automatically all the way up to level 81. And that is exactly what we have done now. I always do the candying off camera because it's a lot of repeated flashing in a row, and I don't want to cause any problems to any of you who are sensitive to things like flashing lights. So we'll always do the candying off camera, or if we do it on camera, I'll stick a freeze frame up and we'll just skip to the next level. Now, because we've candy jarred, it means that we can go straight into Silver Cave from here. We are going to use the lantern for one last time in the course of this challenge, and we've probably got one more repel that needs using as well before we face Red for good. And I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to sit and think, I think, before taking them on, because there are a couple of strats I could use, and I don't know which is going to give me the best chance of getting through. So the plan here is to not get hit too much by Thunder. We are playing with our speed, hopefully being high enough to get through all of these Pokemon. We are able to set up a triple Swords Dance, and we have the Persecure Berry in our back pocket, just in case we need it for the Snorlax. We get through Pikachu, we get through the Espeon. We are able to one-shot the Snorlax as well. Here comes Venusaur, we are able to use a neutral Sludge Bomb against that. Charizard does not outspeed. We have the victory secured now in as simple as 6 one-shots, and we have defeated Red, and that means that VICTREEBEL is a SuperMON. And that does mean that VICTREEBEL can join the other 7 SuperMON on the leaderboard. I am going to change how we display the SuperMON in an upcoming video, but for now it can live there on the SuperMON leaderboard with all the other Pokemon. I put it in the middle of the pack because we did have to heavily rely on Swords Dance, but VICTREEBEL took its difficult battles like an absolute champion. But with that, we are done. So I really hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you've tolerated my voice not being up to standard today. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to get notified about these challenges, click the subscribe button. If you want to see the challenges a little bit early, you can always join the channel membership and become a HM friend. But until next time, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.